Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Forgiven AF Podcast. Remember, we use this as marketing material for our nonprofit Second Chance Mentors, where we work with the young men that have been kicked out of the school district here in Mansfield and try to help them get back on track, get back into school. But, man, I'm excited about this episode. So last week, I think it was last week, might have been 2 weeks ago, I got invited to God Behind Bars was putting on a conference for all these different churches, and they sent the people who were setting up the like their prison ministries for the different churches, right? And it was really cool because there was a panel of us, and basically like they asked us a bunch of questions that had to do with prison ministry, and then even all the prison all the people could ask us questions, and it was like super fulfilling to be able to help these people because I felt like it was sorry, I'm trying to fix these headphones real quick. Because I felt like it was just a cool way to give back. And I knew that this panel was going to give power to these people that were going back into the prisons, and it was giving them kind of knowledge of how to set it up and how to run it better. But one of the coolest parts about it was I met OGBRUHMIKE, right? So I met Michael Berrien, and he was on the panel with me. And I knew right away, I was like, man, I got to get this dude on the podcast just the way he spoke, just kind of his knowledge and his love for the Lord was really the part that really hit me the hardest. So first of all, thank you for being here, man. It's like,
yes, sir.
I know it wasn't an easy drive for you to get out here.
Right.
Brought little Michael Berrien the third with him, so it's kind of cool to see little G here with us. And so can you just kind of tell our listeners kind of like from the jump, where you're from, kind of like.
So I'm from Macon, Georgia, MACON. It's about an hour and a half south of Atlanta, and the infamous Bibb County is, the area that I'm from. A neighborhood called Pleasant Hill is where I was pretty much raised at. That's where I'm from Georgia.
What was your family life growing up like?
Family life was, I grew up in a single parent household. Grew up without my dad in my home. Seen him ever so often. Sometimes maybe years would pass without me seeing him. But my mom, she was very present up until the point where she had to work. Of course, single parent, she had to work a lot. So that took her out of the home a lot. And it was me and my brother. So my mom has two boys, me and my brother Brandon. He's also a minister and married with a child, and he does music too.
That's cool. It's funny you say that because I was I'm trying to get this mic to hold up, but I was in the exact same boat, honestly. Like, my dad, I was raised by a single parent, but it was my dad.
Oh, yeah.
So, but he was gone. He went to work first thing in the morning, was just gone all day, didn't go home until the night. So I just had all this freedom to run around, and that was one of the reasons I got in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just able to really
kind of the same.
Yeah.
My mom being gone and me being turned on to the streets, and wanting to fit in, so I got out there in the streets and fell in love with the wrong way, the wrong things, and, was very caught up on that.
Yeah, and I agree, and me too. Same sort of situation, honestly. So did you know growing up, could you tell, the influence of not having your dad around? Were you comparing yourself to other people that in that situation, or did you just think this is normal?
I guess because of where I was from, it was normal. Didn't see a lot of dads in the households. One of my best friends, his dad was not present. He was from up north, moved down here. It was just his mom and sisters, brothers. So it was kind of normal. But then my other friend, one of my other best friends, he actually, when him and his mom had issues, he moved in with his dad. So he had his dad in his life. But for the most part, it was a normal situation. I didn't really compare myself to anybody. I didn't even know that I had the need of that until I got older. But there was something working in my heart, some kind of resentment that my dad wasn't there. Yeah. But I used to kind of try to find out where he was and pull up on him if he was on the job site or different places. I would ride my bike or walk or wherever I could.
So you knew where he was at?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, if I knew where he lived, I would go. I would just pop up, or whatever. Yeah.
They say a lot of, they say like 85% of the men in prison come from a, single parent household.
Yeah.
They didn't have that second influence.
It's sad.
Mine was the opposite. Mine was my mom. My mom left, so it was just my dad that raised us.
Yeah.
But so when did you start getting in trouble? What happened with that? How did that happen?
Man, far back as I can remember, and I was getting in trouble in elementary school. I was very young, probably around, probably under 10. But, kind of nuisance stuff, not nothing really major. Then when I was around like 13, 14, that's when it got like, I kind of jumped off the porch, gang affiliated, selling drugs, hanging with the wrong crowds, sex, all of the above. And then closer to 16, now I'm robbing and just committing crimes for real. And that's when I got locked up at age 16.
What happened with the crime that got you locked up?
It's armed robbery. Committed 3 armed robberies within maybe 2-3 weeks of each other.
You got hit on all of them?
Yes, got hit on one, then the other ones came later.
Really? That like someone told on you or something?
I guess maybe, I don't know, fingerprints. Well, I don't even know how they got all of the information. But I know when we first got arrested, it was for 1 armed robbery. And it could have been off a description thing because all the armed robberies, it was 3 of us, kind of the same look. So I'm guessing now that I'm thinking about it, that you asked that question, maybe because of when the police report was made, they probably gave us the same description. So they pinned it. But they were actually true. The 3 that they put on us was the 3 that we did.
Did you try to fight it or you just took it?
When we first went to the detective bureau, we lied about it. We all lied about it. But eventually the truth came out. And they pinned all 3 on us. So
how much time did you get? That was your first major trouble?
Yeah, that's my first major situation. Before then, I used to throw rocks down from the railroad track.
We used to do dumb stuff like that too. Throw like ice, throw like ice balls at cars driving down the street.
Yeah, like silly stuff, but never really had a real run-in with the law. I remember one time, truancy officer pulled up on me. I wasn't in school. I said some smart to him. He grabbed me by my throat. It was a black cop. Tried to choke me out in the middle of the street. And, he got in his car and left. But other than that, this was the main situation, serious situation.
How much time did they give you?
They gave me 10 years, and I had to serve 4.
Did they charge you like you were an adult?
Yeah, I got charged as an adult because armed robbery in the state of Georgia is an adult charge. It's an adult crime. So, and I had 3 counts.
So what happened? So you're 16 and they put you in an adult prison with...
Yeah, we were facing maybe 50 plus years, man. But when they gave us a plea bargain, my first plea bargain was 20 to 14. And I didn't take it. Then they tried to give me 15 straight years. I didn't take that. Then they gave me some other plea bargain. Then the last one was 10 to 4. And I took the 4 years or whatever.
But you said it came with kind of like a... where almost like what they call here, like with deferred probation kind of thing. Where
it was a first. I went on a First Offender Act, and the benefits of it is if you complete your sentence, don't get in no more trouble, and the probation ends, and you don't get in trouble. They seal your record up. You can have a life. You can work for the state like I do now. You can, do things like that. The bad side of it is if you get in trouble again, they can actually bring you back before the judge.
Okay, they can bring
and charge you, give you the maximum of whatever that was. And for us, like I said, it was facing a lot of time.
That's true. So if you get in trouble again, they can use it against you. But if you don't, you're clear.
Oh yeah, you're all the way clear. Yeah.
Well, that's
because now, I work for the state twice in the juvenile justice system. So every time they run my background, nothing never comes back.
That's good, right?
And I'm able to tell my story within these spaces, but it's still like people scratch their head because it's like, how are you able to work here with I have violent crimes.
When you told me that, when you said that when we were at the Guy Behind Bars And you said that, I was like, man, how can he work for the state? And
Yeah.
like and they won't even, I can't even be a substitute teacher. I tried to be a substitute
Oh,
teacher.
yeah.
They wouldn't even let me do that.
Yeah. So when they look me up, nothing comes up. So only thing that, you know, I let people know, because I tell my story as a witnessing testimonial type of evangelistic way, but you know, but yeah, nothing comes up on the record.
So what does prison look like to a 16-year-old kid? Tell me what it's like when you show up to prison at
So
16.
I went to prison when I was 17. So I started in the juvenile system in Macon. I went to 4 different juvenile settings, facilities, before I actually went to prison. Juvenile facilities, you know, I ain't gonna say they're worse than adult prisons, but they up there because of all the young people trying to prove themselves. You know, you got a lot of gangs, you got a lot of different things going on, so everybody's trying to get some kind of street cred, and fighting and gang banging and just different stuff like that. But prison is for, you know, 17-year-old coming in there. It's almost like, you know, people are looking at you like prey. You know, they're trying to really kind of feel you out to see if you're about the action or if you're not. Because most people that come to prison, you're going to be there 5-10 years. Yeah. So however you present yourself, you could be like that the full time. So if you pray, you could be praying the full 10 years that you're there.
Do they do like a heart check like they do?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely going to see what you about, even people from your own city. Yeah. You know, because you can get disowned from people from your own city if you're not holding your own weight.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to just be riding by yourself.
Oh, yeah. That's easy target.
So tell me the story about, because I think it's an awesome story and I love hearing it, kind of about how your relationship. Did you have a relationship with God before, like growing up? So
my mom introduced the Christian life, I would say, to me and my brother growing up as teenagers. My mom used to get kids from the neighborhood and bring them to our house, feed them, teach them the word of God. She took us to church. She did all these things. She at home, she prayed. She read the Bible. She did these things. She witnessed. She shared her faith. All these things I'm seeing growing up. But when I became a teenager and I fell in love with the world, when I fell in love with the streets, I started to just kind of shy away from the church. You know, I remember the church van coming down the hill. Me and my friends would go and run and hide. So, because we knew that if they would have seen us, they would have been like trying to get us to come on the church van, and we probably would have went, and we was trying to kind of get out of that lifestyle because we were so caught up in the streets at the time, selling drugs and, you know, gang affiliated, you know, the females, you know, that's the way could have got us to the church. The females were going to be there. Yeah, we'll go to the church. But it wasn't about God at all. So I always professed to be a Christian, though, because I thought that, you know, that was me being a Christian. And because I went to church, I knew some Bible, I could pray. I knew a little bit, so I felt like that made me a Christian. And I didn't, you know, relate it to my lifestyle had to change. So I don't think I had a relationship with God. And if I did, I was on the opposing side. My relationship with God was me as his enemy. That was the relationship I had with God.
Tell our listeners about the story about what happened when the guy came in and you actually feel like, you know, tell the story.
About the minister. Yeah. So there was 2005. I had just got shipped to a prison called Hancock State Prison. Came from this prison called Alto. Alto was a infamous prison in Georgia. It was a male prison, a lot of killings, rapes, all this stuff going on here. But they end up right now today it's a women's prison. They changed it. But this minister came in, they was preaching the gospel. And this particular day I had went to service because I had been going to service because that just was the normal thing you do. As a believer in there, you know, you try to get the word of God. And me being that I had just got shipped there February the 4th, I believe. So this is February 19th. So this is like 2 weeks later. And I'm sitting in the cafeteria and I'm hearing the word of God being preached. And I had this powerful encounter with God. The message was about Lazarus being raised from the dead. And it's like my understanding began to open up to know that it meant it was talking about a spiritual death for me. So it's like God was letting me know that, I could raise you from the dead too. But in my mind, I was like, and this is a conversation, like it's almost like I'm having a conversation. It's like I knew that I wasn't physically dead. So the only thing that came after that was a spiritual death, like I could be raised from the dead. And I had this powerful encounter with God in this moment where I felt God grabbing me and pulling on me like he was trying to get my attention and tell me something, like a loving father would do a son that he's trying to really get to pay him attention. So it's three things God told me. One was I wasn't a Christian, although I had been professing I was, because he helped me to understand that my life and my lips had to match. And me professing to be a Christian didn't make me a Christian, but it was my lifestyle being changed and impacted by Christ that made me a believer, a follower of Christ. And number two, he shared with me that I was his enemy. And I didn't understand that because I didn't understand why I was that big or important to be God's enemy. How could I even be on God's radar to that degree to be considered his enemy? And then I found out about James 4:4 later. It talks about, you're a friend of the world, you're an enemy to God. And then he told me that Jesus Christ was the only one that could save me. Not Muhammad, not the Dalai Lama, no other figure or belief. And I confessed Christ. I began to believe in that moment, and I asked Christ to come into my heart, because I didn't know all of the things to say, but in that moment I asked Christ to come into my heart, and I've been changed since that day, February 19, 2005. I went back to my dormitory, completely changed, and began to see God manifest in my life in little ways, that let me know that he was present with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that story. I also think it's really cool that how you talked about the guy who was there ministering.
Yeah.
How like his, basically he's the one that kind of was saying the things that brought into your heart that you needed to be saved.
Right,
but he never knew.
Right. So the guy that ministered to me, well, it wasn't even a guy, it was a female.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a team. It was a team of people, but it was a female preaching. She was preaching about Lazarus being raised from the dead. And that kind of, I guess, they got a lot of things out there, beliefs that, women can't preach, or maybe women can't be pastors, or all these different things, but I don't know about all that. But I do know that there was a female preacher who was preaching the word of God, and I was changed in the midst of the preaching. But no, when the church service was over, I didn't shake nobody's hand. I didn't go up repeated prayer after nobody. I went back to my dormitory, completely changed, and I never seen that person again. I never seen him again.
What that makes me realize is, and this is kind of what we were talking about at the God Behind Bars conference thing, was you can be trying to plant seeds and trying to save people, and you might not even know when you do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Like, I started going to do the prison ministries in Georgia, and you can be up there ministering your heart out, and it may seem as if nobody's responding.
Yeah.
And then I call an altar call, and 6 people jump up and come down to the altar, hit their knees, crying, confessing. It's like you never seen that. But then you got people that they may never approach, they may never come up, but they believe.
But
though.
they've been saved.
Yeah, they believe. They heard a word, they were changed. They said a prayer in their seat. They got up, they left.
So for the rest of your time, did you start like while you were incarcerated? Did you start like? Did your actions change immediately? Did people start to say like, "Hey, Michael, you seem different," or like did?
Not really that, because there was a lot of people around me that was believers, so they like knew what was going on. I got saved February 19, 2005. I went home in June.
Okay.
So we're talking maybe 4 months.
Yeah.
I seen that God was changing me for sure. A lot of things about me changed little by little, and I began to experience conviction of the Spirit and different things like that. But we had good community in there because there was a lot of believers. There was a lot of brothers there who actually believed in Christ.
That's cool. That's good that you had a good support system. Now, when you got out, were you able to continue your walk? Did you ever backslide, or what happened when you?
Oh
got
yeah,
out?
for sure. I feel like I definitely backslid. Not well. I would the definition of backsliding, because when I came home, of course I got distracted by the females off rip. Never went back to smoking, drinking, none of that type stuff, but did get caught up in some situations with females, and after experienced God's conviction, which was different before I went to prison, where you can just do whatever, and it was just a check off the list.
Yeah.
It hit different. So me now refraining from doing these things. So I started practicing refraining from doing these things. Well, I had a girlfriend. I hooked up with this girl, and she became my girlfriend, but I never slept with her. And she was made a comment like I must be gay because I just came home from prison, but I don't want to sleep with her, type stuff like that. So I experienced that, went through that, but she just didn't understand that it wasn't about that.
Yeah.
She didn't understand that I actually did want to be with her in that way, but I wanted to follow God more,
That's
know.
Good. I'm glad you said that, because when I came home and I met who is now my wife, we actually we didn't have sex till we got married.
Right.
And it was not something that I'd ever done in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Ever,
and it kind of felt weird because I already had a kid.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was like a
New to
virgin.
it,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah. But I just felt like I wanted God's blessing. I really wanted God to honor the marriage, honor all the stuff I was doing that was going to be doing going forward.
Correct.
So I felt like, man, I'm going to just be obedient in this.
Yeah.
And
some people, some people, everybody's life is different. Some people come into it where they already on that verge of getting married, or they have certain spaces that they're in, and they fall in that area. And then you got people that come in and automatic. And for me, I fell in that area, and I learned to, from experience, conviction from falling. It's almost like it teaches you to not want to be in that space again.
Yeah, for sure. Because before you didn't have that conviction. So you could do whatever you wanted and you didn't feel that. That's how you know you got the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean?
Right.
That conviction is a good sign. Feeling convicted means that you have that conscious now. You have the Holy Spirit telling you, hey, this ain't right.
Yeah.
So what happens next? So you come home, and did you have big plans while you were locked up of what you wanted to do when you got home? Or?
I really didn't. I didn't know what life was gonna be about. I left the streets at 16, came home at 19, finna turn 20. I didn't know. I just knew I needed to get me a job, and I was living with my mom at the time, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. Really, I came home and started working at Crystal's, with the little patties. I started working with them, and I just was trying to get some money, man. I was trying to serve God, make some money, the legit way.
Yeah. And then what happened? What happened after that?
So,
because you ended up get back into the prison system somehow.
Yeah. Years later, I ended up back in the prison system, just having a desire. As my passion grew for the Lord, I began to do a lot of evangelistic type things of sharing the faith, preaching the gospel, anywhere, however I could, anytime I could get on the stage with a microphone. I started walking around certain neighborhoods, sharing the faith with people I ran up on. I started printing out tracts at my house, and I would print out these tracts that I made myself with, just revelation that God gave me, and had the scripture in it. And I would go and pass it out to people, and I would post it up on at stop signs, at the bus stops.
Yeah.
I would post it up there so people could read and I was doing all kind of stuff, anything to just get the message out, man. So prison ministry that's where I got saved at. So it became a great thing, a big thing in my life where it's like, I want to go back in, man. And I always thought about it in this aspect. I said, I want to go back in and share the gospel with my brothers.
Yeah.
That's how I always looked at and will always look at inmates or people that's incarcerated. Like, they're my family.
Yeah.
They're my brothers. And I remember when I got in one of the first prisons, the chaplain was like, "Okay, y'all sit over here," and the inmates, the ones that were incarcerated, they were sitting over here, and I went and sat with them, and I felt so like at home, at peace, and I was getting these crazy looks because most people don't do that; they keep themselves separated. But because I've been there before, it's like I felt more comfortable being in the midst with them, man. And I experienced Holy Spirit in ways that, I really haven't on this side of the fence. In there, we was having a worship service. I was preaching this day, but the guys there, they actually did like the worship part. And man, it was amazing. And the Spirit came in and just really opened my eyes and showed me some things, about how present He is inside of the prison system.
Yeah, he definitely is too. So let me ask you: Have you always made music? When did the music stuff really like take off?
Been doing music since I was like 14.
It just was a different type of music at that point.
Oh yeah, for sure. 14 to 19. Which is crazy because 14 is when I kind of jumped off the porch. 19 is when I got saved.
Yeah.
At 19, I started doing music for God. And it kind of took off, doors started opening up, but it started in prison. I started gospel rapping in prison. Got a cough. Started gospel rapping in prison and started writing songs about God's love and different stuff like that. I didn't have a name or anything like that. I just went by, I think, Lil Mike or something like that, because my name is Michael. And then when I came home, I started going by BruhMike. And now here, 20 years later, I go by OGBRUHMIKE, and OG stands for Obey God.
Is your stuff on can they find you on Spotify?
Oh yeah, find me anywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, under OGBRUHMIKE, Tidal, YouTube, everywhere. But through the year, God has opened so many doors of access through the music. Even when I was doing the prison system ministry, I was doing music in there. I would go in and do a few songs, cool. And yeah, it was cool. They loved it. And I did it. Last time I went, it was like maybe last year or the year before last was the last time I went in and did the prison event. I went in with a team, and I was able to do music and different stuff like that. So since I moved to Texas, I've been trying to get in, just haven't really connected to anyone yet to actually go in, but I'm working on it because I'm trying to go in with my church.
I've been working on it too. It's not as easy as it seems. Mm-hmm. I've been trying to get in. It's just hard to get your foot in the door. You know what I mean? It seems like a lot of people that have them, in a way, they don't want to bring other people in or something. I don't know. I've been struggling. I've been trying to get back in too.
Yeah, the church that I'm a part of, they have a prison ministry, and I'm getting on the team. I'm just waiting on the approval from the Texas.
They're not fast about
Department of Correction. Yeah, it said it can take up to 6 months.
Yeah, they're not fast about it. I met a guy at the Guy Behind Bars conference who I think he's at Compass Church.
Yeah, that's where I go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm at Compass.
Yeah, so he said he's gonna try to get me in.
Yeah, Bryant Pastor Bryant. Yeah, good guy.
He said he's gonna try to get me in. I still got to fill out the paperwork to get approved and everything. I had been approved before, but it was during COVID, and I think they're only good for 2 years.
Okay.
So I got to get reapproved, and I'm trying to go down there too. I do know some guys from Gateway Church. They go down to the Michael unit. I just need to try to find a way to get my foot in the door. I did go one time with Gateway Church, and and it was really cool. They built a podcast studio there for the inmates.
That's hard.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah,
That's
so
dope.
they have their own podcast out there, and I got to spend the day with the hospice unit. They were making it real nice for all the guys that are dying in there, because that's a tough place to die, And these guys are like, once you're on that deathbed, they put you in this hospice area. So Gateway Church is putting a bunch of money into making it real nice. And shout out to Pastor Stephen Wilson. He
That's dope.
He put a lot of effort into that, which was really cool. All right, so but I'm interested in like, how did that door open for you getting back into prison, like as far as like,
yeah, so I
work?
just okay, the work I was gonna say, but I was gonna say volunteer wise, I just went. I found out. I went to the headquarters, applied, and they had a training. You had to do a 4-hour training.
This is the volunteer?
Yeah, this is when I was volunteer, when I started doing the prison ministry.
Yeah.
And it was that simple. And, it lasts for like a year or 2 years, and then you have to renew. And then from there, you just call around to the prisons and say, hey, you got availability, I want to come in, and you get a yes or a no. But it's over 30 prisons in Georgia, so it's like somebody going to give me a yes.
So you were just doing it yourself, just making
it was just me. Like, the ministry was just me going in, doing some music, sharing the word. And it was my own. So I didn't have a team, but I was trying to start that, but it hadn't made it to that point yet. So I was just doing it by myself.
I think I needed to hear that. I think I've been so attached to needing to get locked in with a group that I've never even tried to just see if I can put get my own foot in the door.
Because it's simple. Once you get approved as a volunteer, from there, you just got to connect with the chaplains.
Yeah.
Call all the prisons and around the area. Hey,
I even know some.
I'm Sean. I would like to come in. They would ask you what you do, whatever, and you have dates. Like, one place I was going like every other Tuesday. Then you got some people, or you can be available on Saturday, or you can be available on Monday. It's just different days, and I went when I could.
I love that, man. And actually, I'm glad you said that because...
And I made it into 5 prisons before I left.
Before you left Georgia?
Yeah, because it started with one, then I would call around, and then even in the midst of me doing my own thing, I still would go in with teams. I still would go in with other people if they had that availability. I would go in with them, and then that could open up a door to me talking to the chaplain and get my own date,
I respect that. You weren't just waiting for a handout. You were like, I'm going to get myself in there.
Oh, no.
Do the work for myself.
I couldn't, because I have experience. Same reason I got a studio at home now.
Yeah.
People, they may not be available when you want to record.
That's good, yeah.
I can't come and sit down at 3:00 in the morning, and record.
Yeah.
But I had to get out there myself. But I was working at a group home, and the group home was about to close down. And I had to make a decision.
A group home for like boys that were like...
Yeah, boys and girls. We had girls there too.
Okay.
I had to make a decision what I wanted to do next. And I fell in love with the group home. I fell in love with working in that environment. It was there where I found out, like, this is my passion. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Work with at-risk, incarcerated youth, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So I had to make a decision. I had 2 decisions. I was either going to work with the DFAC side of things, kids that family has given up on them and all the above, whatever reason they end up in DFACs, or property of the state, whatever. Or I was going to work with incarcerated youth, So I decided, I kind of leaned on the incarcerated side more because of my experience, my background. So I started working with incarcerated youth. So what I said, I want to be a probation officer. I went to school to be a probation officer. About 4 months in, we had to go inquire with the places where we wanted to work. I went and inquired. They told me I didn't need to just go to school. I could get it off experience. So I stopped going to school. I went down to the local juvenile jail in Macon. I applied. And, man, I ended up there 7 years before I moved to Texas.
That's so cool, man.
And almost literally since I've been there, maybe every other year, I was promoting. So I went from being an officer to officer 2 to sergeant to lieutenant to training the staff. And then I was a volunteer resource coordinator. And my last job was my title was audio video production specialist. Well, we went around. We built studios inside the jails. We taught kids about music. We recorded with them. I got a phone full of songs, man, of great music done by juveniles, man. They talked about their pain, trauma, expressed things that were going on in their life and their world, and put it in a positive manner. No cussing, no gang banging, no beefing, no shooting nobody, and it was great music that we created. And I left there and came to Texas.
You came to Texas because you met.
I came to right? So I got married in November. I didn't come to Texas till June the 1st. I got married in November. So around 6 months mark of us being married, I actually moved out here because it made more sense, feasible, and just what we had going on between the both of us, that I moved here versus her move to Georgia.
So did you have like a long-term relationship for a long time?
Or did
you meet her out there?
No, I met her in the midst of doing music, working on a song together. It was literally.
Does she sing?
She raps.
Oh,
for real? Yeah, she hard too. She hard. So she's a dope artist. And I had heard some of her stuff. She used to freestyle all the time on her Instagram, and I used to I commented on it once, twice, just fire emojis. And one day, I just was like, I seen a video of her rapping, and I was just like, hey, let's collab or whatever. And she reached out to me. I sent her some of my music. She listened to it. She liked it. And I sent her a song. Like with an open verse on it. And she did it. She sent it back, man. And we built a friendship around it. Like we would talk about the word and just different stuff like that. And then I visited her, seen her in person, and we just kind of just locked in from there. And we was friends and building. And then it kind of grew into the next level of that. And then when I felt like this is the person I want to pursue, we began to date, and then I asked her to marry me. It was in Washington, D.C. We both had flew to Washington, D.C. because she would fly places. Her job would allow her to fly to different conferences because she's in the juvenile justice space too. And then I was going up there, as well. So we both met in Washington, D.C., and I proposed to her there. So our first 6 months of marriage, man, it was long distance. I was in Georgia, she was in Texas. We would fly every 2 or 3 weeks to see each other. And then I moved out here June 1st.
Was it hard to leave your job to come out here?
Yeah, my jobs, my kids, and my church.
Yeah. Oh, we just talking about it. Yeah. That would be hard to leave because you was at 2819?
Yeah, 2819 church. Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell. God is doing a revival.
It's so powerful.
And it has been going on for a while. And I just, I never really had community and different things before I experienced that there.
Yeah.
I don't have that here. So, and I'm trying to gain that here because Compass is a great church. I just haven't found the community yet as far as just that everyday life communion type stuff.
I think it's going to be hard to find something like 2819. And I've never even been there, but just seeing like the fire that he brings and like his energy, like it's just, I got the blessing to meet him last week. And they prayed over me, bro. And I've never experienced anything like in my life. I didn't even tell them, bro, him and the associate pastor that he had with him. I wish I knew his name.
Yeah. Was it Tim Timberlake? The guy with the locks?
No, it wasn't Tim. Tim was with him in the podcast.
All right.
But when I started praying over people, he had a couple of the guys that were with him from his church kind of stand up too. And bro, they were calling things out of my life that I've struggled with my whole life, bro. And I didn't tell them none of it.
Right.
They were telling, man, they were just saying things. They were like, man, you struggling with this. I feel the Lord's telling me you have an anointing on your life, but you got to get rid of this. And all things that I had literally been, and it was so like, I was crying like a little baby, bro. Like
that's amazing, man.
It was super powerful, but I really feel like that I think that chains broke. I really feel like I'm going to be able to beat.
And it's deeper, being there. It's different from. It's more like. It's more authentic than you can see on the TV screen. Like you have to be there. Like people probably sit around and watch 2819 on YouTube and different stuff, and you know that God is there. The word is being preached, and you see the effects of it. It's coming through the screen almost, but actually being
It's
in the
even more
midst there
powerful.
is on another level. And like I said, what I miss is the community part where we would meet like at least once a week. Some of the brothers, we had different groups.
Yeah.
We would meet and we would just kind of reiterate on what the word was about. We would eat together, pray for one another,
Yeah.
that type stuff.
That's
you
so
know, and we
important.
kept up with each other on the phone and just building that community, you
Yeah.
know. And I've been at Compass for a couple months now, and I'm still trying to kind of find the brothers that, you know, I can kick it with. Like, I don't really have friends out here,
Yeah.
you know, and I had crazy friends in Georgia because that's where I'm from. But moving out here, it's like sometimes I feel like it's just me and my wife. I don't really have the brothers.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to connect with more people like you and different people I meet so we could actually, you know, build.
I love it.
Yeah, build community.
I'm all
man.
for it. We have an amazing men's group that meets on Monday nights, and you're more than welcome to come. I know you're kind of far.
Here?
Yeah, well, we meet right down the street.
Okay, yeah.
But it took you an hour to get out here?
Yeah, it was about an hour and 4 minutes.
That's kind of tough for, you know what I mean? on a
What
Monday.
time is it? Because
6:30. We normally
yeah,
go from
my new job schedule, I'll be working like 1 to 9. I got promoted already out here in juvenile.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I bet you there's not going to be anybody that will be able to reach those kids like you can. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And I guarantee that they see that in you. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
authentic. You can tell that you're real. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, for sure,
and the
yeah.
kids probably see the same thing. And I bet you that's so rewarding. Like, I bet you that's such a cool job to be able to like pour into these kids, you know, to try to
Right.
catch them before. I mean, it's kind of like what we do with the nonprofit, but I'm trying to get to them before they can before they get locked up. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure.
But that's really cool. So tell me what's next? Like, what are your plans for the future with
And I'm gonna get these to my son so he can go grab one. I don't even know that. Oh, here. Get me a copy of my book out the trunk. That's what I wanted to talk about. 'Cause that's what's next. That's what I've been doing. Is trying to promote my book more. Get my book. I'm actually trying to. It's my prayer and hopes, and you could be praying with me that I can get my book inside of the juvenile system, meaning they approve where I can get copies into Lee Tide and Matlock and Youth Village and all the Henry Wade, the facility that's in Dallas County, because that's where I work. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get my book into the prison system more. You know, I had a guy who just ordered 50 books from me to take into a prison, you know. And that's something I would do for free, you know, but he actually bought the books from me. I gave him a great deal on the books or whatever, but that's what I want to do. I want to get my book inside of different settings, you know, for the incarcerated. I'm writing now. I'm kind of gearing all, you know, I've authored 3 books, but I'm trying to gear all my writings towards incarcerated people and teenagers, like at-risk teenagers and different stuff like that.
That's
but
awesome.
It's my book, From a Convict to a Convert.
How does someone like if there's someone who's watching this that wants to get a copy, how do they find it? Or
You can it's on Amazon. You can look up From a Convict to a Convert, Michael Berrien Jr. Or you can reach out to me through Instagram or email or anything like that.
Can you give all that real quick so we don't forget?
So this is a one-stop shop. I got a website. It's a Linktree. Linktree, linktreE.com /I Rep the King. That's IREPDAKING. Once you go on this site, you can go on my Instagram, you can go on my Facebook, my TikTok, my YouTube. You can cash out me. You can email me. You can watch videos, new music, my bio. You want to invite me out to speak, do music, or preach or whatever. All that's on this one site. So
that's pretty smart. I need to do that. I need to set that up.
Oh yeah, everything's on this one link. You know.
Yeah, that's a good setup.
Yeah,
that's pretty smart. And here's the book right here. You good?
Yeah, he's gonna be. But this is my book right here, From a Convict to a Convert. This is, you know, God gave me this. I'm actually about to write a part 2 to it. And it's gonna be a black cover. But this book is about me, the way I was raised, going to prison, the things I did to go to prison, the prison life, and all of the things I experienced inside me getting saved. The next volume is going to be about me coming home and actually going back in the jail.
That's cool.
So this is about me coming out, going in and coming out. The next one's going to be about me going back in.
That's cool.
To work as an officer. So we're going to show that side. And I'll tell stories about the juveniles and different stuff I experienced since being on the inside of the juvenile system.
Do you ever have kids that get out and then still keep in touch with you?
Oh, yeah. They add me in. You know, in certain cases, you can't really keep up with them.
Yeah.
But you have kids that may add me or send me a message on Instagram. You know, they may even had a copy, because in Georgia I was able to get my book in. They probably took a copy of my book home, or they order it, or whatever. You know.
That's awesome, man. I'm really for real. I'm really proud of you, dog.
Thank you.
It's really cool to actually go through what you've been through and to come home and actually want to better other people's life and want to, you know what I mean? To want to go back into the prisons, that's rare. A lot of people are like, man, I want nothing to do with prison.
Oh yeah, that's my heart, man. It's crazy because it's like, I don't know. I tell people, and it's kind of weird. I say I feel like when I go in, I feel like I'm at home. And I say I don't even know if I'm supposed to feel like that.
It's okay. I know exactly what you mean, though.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at home.
The first time I went back into a prison, I did not feel back at home. I felt sick to my stomach walking through that gate. I'm not gonna lie. Going in the gate, looking at the barbed wire. I guess sick.
I kind of got past that because I went back in so many times. Maybe my first time, but after so long, you know, you get comfortable with it. And
because you also know you get to leave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
go in when you want, leave when you want.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit different. But
yeah.
So you gave the link tree. So if anyone hears this and wants to get in touch with them or wants to find a way to get a book, or it sounds like everything was on the link tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can get the book on the link tree. You can get a digital copy of the book on the link tree.
You did an audio book where you recorded the whole.
No. So I did a digital copy where you can download to your phone and actually read it on your phone.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, or your iPad or computer, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you can get a physical copy.
So let me ask you a question that I ask everybody on the show, and you could take a second to think about it. But if you could go back and give little Mike, you know what I'm saying, at 16 years old, if you could go give, let's say, or you could give your son, right? Either way, it's the same kind of question. What's the best piece of advice that you wish you knew at 16 years old that you would have shared with yourself? And you could take a second to think about it. Normally, I tell people ahead of time to prepare for it, but I guess I kind of forgot. I knew that me and you would be able to just freestyle this whole episode, so I didn't come up with a whole script for it or nothing. But
I would say, and this is honest, it could sound cliche, but it's honest because I feel like later in life, because we're talking 16-year-old, which means that was 20 plus years ago in my age. I'm finna be 40 in January. And it would be that to believe in the God that your parents told you about.
That's good.
Know? And for me it was my mom. You know, she told me about Christ. And I didn't believe in Christ, you know, but now all these years later I believe in Christ. So if I could tell myself in a younger space, it would be to follow Christ.
Yeah, that's good.
It would be to don't hang around the people that I was hanging around, because I'm going to end up in big trouble hanging with the wrong crowd. It would be don't smoke weed because you're going to be addicted and it can ruin your life. Same thing with alcohol. It would be don't give yourself to all these different women because you're going to not only destroy them in ways, but they are having pieces of you that they shouldn't have. You know, I would tell myself all these things in hopes that I would listen and try to follow Christ at a young age, which we don't really see a lot of in this day and time, because the pressure of just trying to fit in and be cool is real.
That's true. And social media doesn't help either.
Yeah, a lot of people, they get on fire for God later in life.
Yeah.
you know, after they went through the teenage stage and maybe becoming young adults, you know, they make a decision. Hey, like I gave my life to Christ at 19.
Yeah. Which is still young compared to most people.
But when I was in high school, I don't remember one person that was saved. But now, a lot of those people that was in high school with me, they preachers and pastors, and they don't fight for God now. But you know, and some of them was preachers' kids in high school.
Sometimes
I didn't know it.
Sometimes that turns. I know a lot of preachers' kids who run from the faith.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I mean, hopefully they eventually come back. But I know I've talked to so many people that are like, oh no, I don't believe in God. My dad was a pastor. I've seen all the hypocrisy, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like I've heard that so many times,
and it's real though, you know.
So it just needs to make sure that we try to walk the walk that we actually talk about. You know what I mean? Because if we're online or on social media posting Bible verses, but then we're out, you know, disrespecting people, being rude, partying. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure that we're not showing. Because if we're showing that to our kids, what are we going to expect? They're going to think we're hypocrites. They don't want that life.
Yeah, I'll basically like being ashamed of him. That's what I feel like in younger spaces with younger people, teenagers. I think one of the biggest things is being ashamed of Christ in that space because it's not cool.
I remember thinking if they know I'm a Christian, they're going to think I'm soft.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that, like, they're going to think I can't fight if they think I'm a Christian, which it don't even make no sense at all. But they like, oh, no, man, I gotta be hard. You know what I mean? Like, So, man, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I know it's not an easy trip. Hopefully you brought me 10 of them books. Did
yes.
You bring me 10?
I got you.
Okay, because I'm going to pass them out to the boys.
I got a box in the trunk.
I'm going to pass them out to the boys in the mentorship.
Okay.
And I really think that
cool.
Yeah.
Hey, if anytime you need me after, you know, they had a few weeks with it and they reading it, I'll come back down and talk to them,
I would love that.
in a group setting.
That would be awesome.
We'll set that up.
Maybe the next event we have, I'll have you come talk to them.
Yeah, my new schedule, I'll be off every Saturday and Sunday.
That's when we meet on Saturdays.
Yeah, definitely. We got to get in. See, I work on Saturdays now, but November the 1st, I go into the new schedule, so I'll be off every Saturday and Sunday.
I would love for you to come. So we even do like events, and I'll pay for all. I mean, I know you got money, but I'll pay for all your tickets and stuff. Like we take them to Maverick. You can bring your son. We take them to Mavericks games, and we go.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely got to bring
conferences and do stuff like that. Like we're gonna take.
When y'all going back to the Mavericks, I would like to go see the Mavericks play. Y'all don't go see the Cowboys, do you?
We were gonna go on November 21st. We were gonna go on November. I forget what I think it was November 21st. We were going to take them to a Cowboys game, and it's still an option. The only problem is the Cowboys game is like $300, and the Mavericks game is like $50.
Oh, yeah. So we'll definitely go to baseball. Especially you don't want to go to
so we
you don't want to go see the Cowboys and they lose anyway. You know?
I do. I want to see them lose. I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I'm from Philly. Yeah. I grew up in Philly.
Hey, I'm with the Falcons. I don't care how many times they lose, especially being out here in Texas. I'm Georgia everything.
Yeah, that's how I am. I'm Philly everything.
I wasn't even Georgia everything and when I was there, but now I'm Georgia everything.
Yeah, that's how I love that. You know what I'm saying? You got to rep where you're from.
Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for coming, bro.
For sure.
Thank you for bringing your son. I got some time to chop it up with him while you were
still
on the
for
phone.
Sure.
He's definitely, I see a lot of potential right there. You got a good
kid. Yeah.
And he's cool. He gets to see it. You know, you got to break a generational curse.
Right.
By being able to be there for your son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you didn't have your dad. So
yeah, and it's a part of my book. I got a section in my book called Have You Seen My Daddy? And you know, see, these are questions that he don't have to say.
No, and you know what?
You know, I'll ask.
And that's in that book right there?
Yeah.
So that book, I can't wait to get that book in. And a lot of the kids in my program, they don't have their dad's not around.
Right.
A lot of them, and some of them. I know one kid in particular. His dad's been telling him every month for 4 years he was going to come see him. He's in Waco, not even an hour away. He came one time.
Dang, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like eventually, you realize how that's going to wear on somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely going to affect them.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get that book in their hands
for sure.
But anybody watching, remember you can find them. I'm going to throw it out there one more time. Linktree.com// or backslash.
Yeah, it's // I rep the king.
It's DA. I rep Doug King, right? Yeah. I rep Doug King. Man, get his book. Man, holla at him, whatever. You know what I mean? I know that he would love to probably correspond with y'all the same way that I do. You know, y'all got all my stuff. Y'all know my address, phone number. I got a phone call yesterday from a girl who's in prison in Maryland. And it was just cool having her, you know, talk about how like watching this podcast. She says she's watched every episode and all the.
How was she able to watch it in it? Like they have the tablets, I guess, where they can watch it.
Yeah, through the tablets. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Now, remember that you're loved and you're forgiven, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Nothing.
Peace.
Peace.